Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope we're all doing very, very well. It is 10:47 UK time. A lot of the Champions League matches have finished. I'll be totally honest. I haven't watched a game because I was working, so I didn't have the chance to see. In fact, I'm going to just check the scores as well while we're on here. I did see that amazing goal from Vinicius Jr. I mean, that was unbelievable. But yeah, there's been some more news, some more Chelsea news, and we're going to dive into it. We're going to go in depth regarding the tension between Chelsea and Josh Acheampong, as he is refusing, according to some reports, to sign a new deal. But maybe there's more to it than we know. And listen, we're going to dive in. We're going to get all of the juice. So stick around, smash the like button if you haven't already. All right, let's see if we can start off. Let's get 25 likes just to start us off. Can we get 25 likes in the building? Smash the thumbs up. And yeah, let's dive straight into it. So yeah, this report come out when I was actually at work, because I don't work 9 to 5. I work strange hours. But I saw it come up on Twitter, and I thought, oh, this is a bit strange, because I didn't understand why Josh Acheampong is actually coming up on the radar. But it seems like this strict approach that we have regarding contracts is not specific to high-profile signings. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. You might even be in the youth setup. If you don't want to sign for us, then we will make life difficult for you. So I want you to let me know in the comments how you feel about it. I mean, do you feel like this is, this approach initially? I know we haven't dived into it. Do you think this is an unfair approach by Chelsea? Are we mistreating our players, or is there another side to look at it and say, actually, you know what? Players have been bending clubs over for big contracts for a long time. It's about time the clubs took control. And ultimately, we're the club. If you don't want to respect us, and if you don't want to sign a contract, why should we invest in playing you? So I think it's a fair point. Both sides. It just depends how you look at it. But yeah, I mean, it started off like this. So we're going to go into our first little deep dive. At 6:40, London Football London reported that Chelsea's stance on Josh Acheampong's future revealed as the contract standoff is explained. And this is like a two-part segment. So there's actually more than you think that goes into this. And we're going to read it together. So Chelsea are looking to find a solution in regards to Josh Acheampong's contract situation at the club. Football London understands the highly rated Blues teenage defender has 18 months remaining on his deal with the West London club and is now not expected to play for the first team or the development squad while the contract situation is still in dispute. Chelsea believe they had all but agreed an extension with Acheampong, but the teenager has since gone back on the long-term contract, sources have disclosed to Football London. So essentially what it seems like is there was a deal agreed. That's what it seems like. Chelsea believed that they had all agreed an extension with Acheampong, but he's gone back on his word. So that something was agreed, presumably verbally, and maybe Acheampong had a chat with his family. Maybe he spoke with his agent. I don't know if he must have an agent. I'm guessing he does. And somebody has told him something, because I don't think there's any reason for him to change his thoughts unless somebody has changed his mind. So for me, he's been advised. He's been advised, listen, don't sign this contract. It's too long. You're going to be stuck at Chelsea. You might not ever play for Chelsea. Or maybe this is a financial issue. How much are we offering? What are we paying? And these are all factors that hopefully we can find out today. We'll see what else is in here. Now, despite what has happened, the Blues still want to keep the 18-year-old at the club for the foreseeable future after losing numerous academy graduates under the ownership of Todd Bowley and Clear Lake Capital. Chelsea are keen to ensure a repeat does not happen this time around. Acheampong made his senior debut for the Blues on May 2nd of this year, coming on as a late substitute against Tottenham at Stamford Bridge. The London-born defender was then included in Chelsea's squad for their pre-season tour of the United States in the summer, where he and his academy teammate Tyreek George got some minutes under Enzo Maresca across the Atlantic. So, yeah, I mean, we've seen Acheampong play a couple of minutes. If I'm not wrong, he came on against Barrow as well. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think he played some minutes in that game. We were about 4 or 5-0 up, so I mean there wasn't exactly any pressure, but they're clearly being integrated into the squad. Listen, if you're good enough, you're good enough, and if Maresca thinks that these guys are good enough, I'm all for it. And I think part of the role of being a Chelsea boss, not only do you have to nurture the players we bring in, these big money signings, and get the best out of them because of what we've invested, but also you've got to try and, I mean, I'm sure the youth is a big priority for these owners, whether it's playing or not. There is serious money to be made with pure profit. I know PSR and FFP is very boring, but ultimately that is where the accounting becomes a lot easier, because you're just looking at pure profit every time you bring in your own youth player. We did it with Gallagher, we did it with Ian Matson, Hutchinson, and many, many more. So I can imagine the strategy is not changing anytime soon. It will probably be the same with Josh. But listen, maybe he's not having it. I don't know. Let's see what else. The defender was bought in. Yeah, he was bought in against Barrow last month in what was just his second senior appearance to date. In a recent interview with the club, Acheampong explained how his experience of first-team football has been so beneficial to him thus far. The pre-season tour was so valuable, he said. I got to play at the top level against tough competition, but it was also an opportunity to go and get to know the senior squad on a more personal level. So you can see that he wants more of this. This is not something that he wants to be a one-off. He wants to continue playing at this level. And to be fair, I mean, any youth player who has the opportunity to join Chelsea in pre-season, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think there's many negatives to take from that. But this is not the end of the saga. Now, that article I just read out, that came out at 6:40 UK time. And since then, at 10:30, so what, 20 minutes ago, there's been another update on the situation. So it's gone from, right, let's see what's going on with the Chelsea situation in terms of the contract, to actually there might be a little bit of a standoff here. Big up to Daniel. I hope you're doing well, mate. I want Chelsea back in the Champions League. We all do. Guy is saying Real Madrid have tapped him up. I mean, goodness gracious. I hope not, but you never know. Luminous says he should leave. Disasi was playing ahead of him. Nor refer. James is back. There is no game time for him. Makes sense. Why should he sabotage his career? Well, I mean, if we're just looking at the hierarchy, I don't see why he would play ahead of Disasi at this moment in time. I do think there's got to be a little bit of a wait, but I understand your point. Disasi is not good enough as a right back, and Acheampong is a right back, and he's highly rated throughout Europe from what I hear. And you can only go from what you do here. I mean, you're not going to hear he's good and he's crap, are you? So he's obviously got something about him that interests other clubs, and maybe that is a factor, right? Maybe that is one of the key points with these negotiations. Is it could have been his family, it could have been an agent that was saying all of this. It could have also been that Real Madrid, or whichever club, Juventus, it could have been another Premier League club for all we know, have spoken to him and said, listen, if you leave Chelsea, this is what we can offer you. Or they've given him an offer and he's thinking, well, if I'm getting that offer at this club, why can't Chelsea give me something similar? Because our policy is so unique, isn't it? We won't, we don't go down the route of of a 3-year contract. I mean, we're looking at 5, 6, 7 years if we can, and I'm all for it. I think it gives the club a lot of stability, and if a player is performing, we take all risk out of the situation. There's no egos involved either, because we have that wage cap. So even Cole Palmer, who signed an extension on 130 grand a week, it's not ridiculous. Tossin's on 120, and there are other players on more money, but that was before this particular cap came in. So you got Enzo Fernandez on just under 200 grand, Wesley Fofana the same, and Kunku. But what that does mean is when it comes to renewing, I'm sure there might be a few issues, because I don't think that they're going to want to continue paying these players ridiculous amounts of money if they're not performing, especially when you've got your best player, Cole Palmer, who's on less money. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how it happens. Goes, you've never heard of him. That's fair. I don't blame you. There must be something in the Real Madrid story. It came about 2 weeks ago, and now suddenly he doesn't want to sign. Maybe that could be it. You're either with it 100% or not. Simple to understand. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a big decision, though, guys. I mean, if whatever company you're at, I mean, it's all the same now, isn't it? Chelsea is a company. They're a club. They're paying him, and he just wants to assess his options. I'm sure that his position is, I want to sign for Chelsea. Maybe I'm sure he does, but he probably doesn't want the deal that we're offering him in terms of contract length. I can't imagine this is purely a financial situation. I don't see a team coming out and offering major money for a player who's only had 2 senior appearances. So I think that there's other elements to this. But listen, we're going to get into it right now. So on to the next one. If you were here for the first article, you have been here from the beginning. But there is more to this story. So at 27 minutes past 10, banished Chelsea star Josh Acheampong transfer feelings already clear amid contract standoff. So literally, I mean, they've already said he's been banished. And we're going to take a deep dive into why that is. How long is he banished for? Where is he banished from? So we know he's got 18 months left on his Chelsea contract. So it expires in 2026. So still a really decent amount of time. And that's what makes it so interesting, because I actually think that Chelsea are in the driver's seat. 18 months is close to 2 years. And if you want to throw away 18 months of development in terms of playing first-team football, whether that's for the under-21s, the youth squad, the first team in that case, and I'm sure that affects the training as well, because, well, if he's not signing the deal, they're not going to allow him to train with the first team, which, as he said in before, is very important experience. It's invaluable, isn't it? So let's get into it. Right. Despite Chelsea barring young defender Josh Acheampong from playing for the club again until he signed a new contract, the player's goals for a future at Stamford Bridge have already been made clear. Aged 18 and having penned a youth deal earlier this year, Acheampong has been made unavailable for either the senior or under-21 side. So, yeah. Chelsea have barred Josh Acheampong from playing for the club ever again. Now, I ask you in the chat, I mean, do you think that this is this a step too far? Or is this how we need to act? If we want to pin players down and get them on a new deal, is this the way you do that? Because as I said before, ultimately, Chelsea can afford to keep paying. He's obviously penned a deal, so he is getting paid. How much that is, I don't know. But it's not going to be life-changing money for Chelsea to pay him for 18 months and then let him go. It's my way or the highway, as Egbali or Bowley is going down that route. Disasi's not a right back, in my opinion. Acheampong should stay. Who will play in the Conference League? Disasi cannot play at right back. I am sorry. Can you believe young, unproven youth players wanting to play first-team football? Lol. Well, I understand where you're coming from. I suppose it depends if, well, if it's. If it's sheerly game time, then yeah, you probably should leave, because I don't think he's going to get him right back ahead of Gusto, and he's certainly not going to play ahead of Reece James when he's fit. But listen, you either believe in yourself or you don't. If you don't believe in yourself, then this is the right decision for Chelsea. Don't invest in someone who's not going to bring anything to the table. But he's going to develop at Chelsea, whether he plays in the starting 11 at Stamford Bridge or whether he goes out on loan. Yeah, there's been a lot of players who have done that, and they've still had very, very promising careers. And there's no shame in going out on loan and proving your worth. He could go out on loan and be an absolute baller. Reece James gets injured again. Maybe we need cover. Yeah, so I don't have anything against a player coming on loan. They want game time, but they've got to earn it as well. Like, what gives Acheampong the right to start over Malagusto, for example? Let's just say Reece James is ill. What gives him the right to do that? There is no right. So you have to be patient as a young player. I don't think it's as simple as, oh, you deserve minutes, even if you're a good player. There's been top players in the past who still can't get minutes. So why should it be any different for him? In May, Acheampong made his debut, still 17 at that time, coming on as a substitute during a 2-0 win over Tottenham. Chelsea were working without 14 first-team players that day, and Mauricio Pochettino, who had turned to Acheampong in training throughout the season, offered him a brief chance to impress at Stamford Bridge. I actually remember that game, to be fair. The versatile defender is not expected to play for Chelsea until contract issues are resolved. Football London understands that the club are acting in such a manner after Acheampong backtracked on signing a long-term deal after initial agreements had been reached. So do you think that Stamford? Do you think that we're in the wrong now? Like, if any of you thought, right, we're mistreating our player, do you feel a little bit more now that we have that clarity? Because I don't think it's that bad if someone's backtracked on the deal. The club are acting in such a manner after Acheampong backtracked on signing a long-term deal. So they already agreed everything. It's already been agreed. And he said no, which I think is a really poor quality. Like, if anyone backtracks with me, they say they're going to do something and then they don't do that. Is that not a poor trait? Is that not bad? I think it is. So actually, I think Acheampong, he's made a bit of a mistake there. I don't see that as a bad thing on the club's behalf. I think that that's poor from the player. Why would you agree to a deal and then pull out? That's horrendous. Yeah. Yeah, good riddance, if that's the case. If you don't want to sign a contract that you already agreed, that's your fault. You shouldn't have agreed to it. Earlier this year, he committed himself to Chelsea until 2026, meaning there is still 18 months left to run. At his age, there is a limit to the contract length, but the deal signed was as long as it could be. However, with reports linking Real Madrid as well as other European powerhouses, Acheampong has now been sidelined with his future in doubt. So Real Madrid definitely have been on the phone to him, I can imagine, 100%. So maybe there is an element of just thinking, right, I'm going to develop at Chelsea. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to improve my craft with one of the best youth setups in world football, which is what we have. And then I'm going to go to Madrid. And maybe I'll actually get a chance there because their right-back position is in doubt, especially long-term. Carvajal's out injured. He's only getting older. But Madrid are also linked with Alexander-Arnold. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how that unfolds. But it's hard not to be swayed by Madrid, isn't it? I mean, they are the biggest club in the world. So respect in that sense. But, yeah, I can understand Chelsea's thinking with this. Well, you're not going to take us for mugs. What are we going to do? We're going to invest in you. And you don't care about investing yourself in us. A relationship is a two-way street. And as far as I'm concerned, the way it looks, Acheampong is not as invested as Chelsea. And he's certainly not invested in Chelsea. if he's backtracking on this deal. Enzo Maresca took the teenager to America in pre-season, where he played a small role and gave him 30 minutes from the bench in the Carabao Cup third-round tie against Barrow last month. He's only made it into a matchday squad on one other occasion under the Italian, though, and it was left out entirely while nominal centre-backs Axel Disasi and Wesley Fofana deputised on the right last month. In Reece James's absence earlier this season and Malagusto suffering an injury of his own, a spot for Acheampong appeared to open up. He was left out by Maresca instead and is not featuring for the development squad either, as discussions over the revolving the situation go on. So yeah, I mean, guys, I can understand from the player's side, he must be frustrated, obviously, not playing. But I do think that there is a hierarchy in a dressing room and in any team, and you have players who, well, they just start over other players. I mean, they might not play well, but you spent over £30 million on Disasi and you spent 80 on or 70 million on Fofana. Of course, they're going to play. I think that's pretty standard stuff. Now, if they're rubbish consistently, then maybe something will change. I mean, look at how long it took Mauricio Pochettino to bench Robert Sanchez when he wasn't performing, and then we brought in Petrovic. It doesn't necessarily take a couple of weeks. It might take longer than a few months. So we could be sitting here in January having a conversation saying, actually, well, Disasi's been rubbish when he's playing on the right. Fofana's not comfortable there either. Acheampong's now going to get a chance. Because I think that's generally how these things go in football, isn't it? I don't think managers make decisions over the course of weeks, not major ones like this. Because I would say this is quite a major shift in the squad to drop two of your so-called first teamers, especially from last season. Disasi played all the time. Fofana was always playing when he was available. To drop them for a player like Acheampong, even if it is on the right, is still, I think, quite a major message. But look, I'm all for it. Listen, I think that he's probably better in that position than both of them. But what do I know? Maybe I'm missing something that Enzo Maresca knows. Chelsea's under-21 side, now managed by Philippe Coelho, beat Bournemouth 4-1 on Monday in the Premier League International Cup, but Acheampong was not selected. He did get the nod to go away with England's under-20s during the recent international break, though, and played twice for his country at junior level. Speaking in an interview published just last week, Acheampong made his desire to play at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea perfectly clear, though asked if he had been pushed to strive for more appearances. He said, yes, definitely, because I felt the atmosphere and the experience once. I say I kind of wish I just played longer. That's the only thing. It was all kind of a blur and it went so quickly. I just wish it was longer. The experience, like always, be ready because you never know when your chance will come. I say just keep working hard because you don't want it to be a one-time thing. Like that was my moment and I'd rather be there many more. Reflecting on his foray at SW6, Acheampong added, it's an achievement which I didn't would happen so soon. I think there's a bit of a typo there. Which I didn't think would happen so soon. I always hoped to make my debut, but it came so quickly. Overall, it was a really good experience. I was training with the first team quite a lot, and then I'd been on the bench a few times in the squad, but I never thought I'd actually come on. Then when the squad came out, there wasn't that many defenders, and I thought, maybe this is my chance. I remember calling my mum, and I was like, I think this is the day I might come on. Then I remember I got told to warm up, and they called me over, and I was on. Yeah, so it is true. Acheampong didn't shrink in the moment. I remember that well. He did play quite well when he came on. To be fair, I thought I'd be a bit more scared, but I wasn't scared. I was just really excited, he explained. I wasn't actually too nervous. I think when you're more excited, you're just kind of more calm, and it's like another game. As for Stamford Bridge, it's really different to anything I've kind of experienced, because I'd say I've played in a fair few decent crowds, but when everyone is supporting Chelsea, it's like you just feel the atmosphere is really good. If you're going to try and win a tackle or do something good, it kind of gives you confidence when the home team is behind you. Chelsea now have work to do if they are to make Acheampong's dream a reality. And that is it in terms of the article. So, yeah, I think it is a really fascinating situation. I did not expect a story like this to come out for this player, but listen, if you're going to do things the Chelsea way, you might as well do it everywhere, because that's how we operate on all levels now, isn't it? We are savage. That is brutal, isn't it? Let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. Do you agree with the treatment of Acheampong as well? Let's. How many likes have we got, guys? Let me know how many likes we have on the video. Can we see if we can get the likes up? Can we get up to 40 likes? 40 likes on the video. Let me know. Stick a thumbs up on there as well. Yeah, let's see what everyone's saying. He won't get any game time. I reckon he'll do better in the Championship. I know he's under 21 player, but it's a competition between Reece James and Gusto. I think a loan deal would be better for him. I completely agree with you, Jordan. I completely agree. To be honest with you, maybe that's why he's not looking to sign this deal, because he doesn't think that there's actually a future at Chelsea. Like, he can be a part of the club. Charlie Masunda was a part of the club for a long time. A lot of players. But that doesn't mean they're going to play for Chelsea, does it? So I do think that we need to be very, very careful with this. And ultimately, it's his decision. It's his career. If he wants to play for Chelsea, he's going to try. But no matter how hard you work, you're going to have to do an awful lot to get ahead of Gusto and Reece James. I think that ship is... I think he's made his bed, hasn't he? He's made his bed, and now you got to lie in it. What a waste of a contract. That's his fault. You're quite right there. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I do think that it's just... why would you accept the deal? We literally offered you a deal, which you accepted, and now you're going to say you don't want it. You're going to backtrack. It's not like he's rejected an initial proposal. He hasn't done that. He literally said yes and then said, oh, actually, no, I don't want to do that. Hang on a second. What the fuck do you want then? Ridiculous. And it's unprofessional as hell, man. So unprofessional. It's pathetic what they did to Ben Chilwell. Why get rid of him? Give him a chance to get back in the team. I mean, Ben Chilwell's a left back, so I don't think it affects Josh Acheampong. I mean, that's the right side. But the Chilwell scenario is very simple. I think it's quite obvious that, first of all, it's the wages. He's on 200 grand a week. And they want to try and trim that down, which they already have by about 30 million a season, which is really impressive considering the players we've brought in as well. And we've managed to actually get them to pin down to long-term contracts with pay cuts as well. If you look at João Felix and Jadon Sancho, they're taking a pay cut to come to Chelsea. I know they were on a lot of money before, but they still did it. So it's not all about money. And I think that the club in itself is able to attract players and potentially incentivize them, that if we do get Champions League football, if we do win trophies, they can be financially rewarded. But we're not just going to give you £250,000 a week if you're not performing. And that's how it should be. I think it's totally fair to have these incentivized contracts and look at it from that perspective. But also, I think that everything that Abramovich built, the infrastructure, the staff, people running the club, the groundsman, they have got rid of everything. We don't have any staff that were there. I know, for example, I had a problem with my season tickets, yeah? And somebody helped me at Chelsea who's been working there for 25 years. He got sacked at the beginning of the season. He's worked there for 27 years. There's no loyalty in this game. No loyalty whatsoever. So I do find it it is annoying because you're gutting the club. It's a totally different club to what it was 5 years ago. It would be nice to have a smooth transition, but the approach has been totally different, and it's savage, absolutely savage. But listen, if that's the route that the owners want to go down, let's be honest, they've already been quite brutal in terms of the first team squad generally. Look at Raheem Sterling, the way he's been dealt with. Ben Chilwell's another great example. Conor Gallagher. So at least they're consistent. It's not one rule for one and one rule for the other. Everybody is treated the same. You either sign a deal and commit your future to Chelsea, or you don't. And if you don't want to commit your future to Chelsea, we are not going to invest in you. That's how I see it. So from what I've seen on this issue, and I'm going to quickly see if there's any other updates as well, I don't think Chelsea are in the wrong. I think the player is in the wrong. I think Acheampong, I don't understand why. Why would you he literally accepted the contract. He looks like an idiot. But listen, that's the route he wants to go down. If that's what he wants to do, listen, all the best to him. It is what it is. According to Chelsea, believe they have already demonstrated a pathway to Josh Acheampong and other homegrown stars, and a willingness to give them a chance. But yeah, it is what it is. Who knows? But listen, guys, I'm going to round it out there. Just a little update. I'm going to do as many news videos as I can. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up, please. Let's see how many likes we can get on this video. There's about 20 of you in here at the moment. Can we get 20 more likes on the video if we haven't already? And also a shout out to Omely, the sponsors. Guys, Omely is an app designed for football fans. I'm presuming you're all football fans if you're watching. It is an app where football fans can go and speak with each other and debate. You could be an Arsenal fan. You could be a Chelsea fan. You can speak with anyone. You can speak with me. You can speak with Lewis, Nina, Charlie. Everybody's on there. And you can debate all things Chelsea, as well as any other topics in the football space. So scan the QR code. Download Omely. There is a link in the description as well. It's totally free. You don't have to pay for it. But yeah, you won't regret it. So let me know if you guys enjoy the app. Let me know how it goes. And hopefully I'll chat with a couple of you on there at some point. I'll be going live on Omely tomorrow regarding the Panathinaikos game. We're going to be doing a preview for that, as well as YouTube. So all the best, guys. Enjoy your evening. And we will catch up very, very soon.